Alrighty, what is quacking, everybody? So we all have our nice luscious drip that we have in Splatoon that we always use, and they all have our abilities that we may or may not like. Sometimes you might be one of those people who's a heathen and you're like, oh, I just like this drip because it looks good. I don't care about my abilities. And then you wonder why you're stuck in A rank this whole time. Or you're one of the people who's like, man, I really need all of these chunks to make sure my drip is on point for my favorite weapon, so that way I can play my weapon the most optimally, but also look as fresh as hell. Or you could be one of those people who's like, I don't care what it looks like, I want to look ugly and then dominate people. And all I care is about functionality, not look. And I want to look ugly and disgusting and beat people and then bag them after I beat them to let them know that they lost to someone with ugly drip. So I want more abilities in Splatoon 3. That's what I was getting at with that. I want more abilities in the next Splatoon game. These are the current total list of abilities that we have in the game, and it kind of looks like a lot until you kind of really think about what a lot of these abilities do and what a lot of weapons and stuff would like to run. And honestly, I feel like we could have a lot more variety, and some of these abilities do need to be reworked to be a lot better. Specifically, tenacity is really up there, as it doesn't synergize with special charge up, and it only works when your teammates are dying. So it's great for solo queue kind of, but then you realize you can just run special charge up, so it's a waste of an ability slot, so it's absolutely useless. And then we did also get the new ability with Intensify Action as well. And then, we got the ability rework with sub resistance, and it sucks from bomb resistance, but that's neither here nor there. But we have a pretty decent amount of abilities, but I feel like there could be some better main abilities for the most part in the game. And, maybe like another sub ability or two that could, help with some certain things. Because, back in the olden days of Splatoon 1, they had some pretty wacky abilities that eventually, their abilities got added to other things. You had Cold-Blooded, which decreases the activation time of point sensors and other items that reveal locations, such as Haunt. So Cold-Blooded just got added to sub-resistance at this point, and, that doesn't, play into the fact that when you're, being hunted by someone with Haunt, that still stays for the duration. Also Thermal Link as well. You also had Bomb Sniffer, which reveals traps and bombs placed by your opponents, and also decreased flash damage from bombs, such as burst bombs and, other types of bombs as well. That also got added to sub-resistance. However, you don't get to see where the bombs are thrown. This is one of those abilities I feel like they could bring back for beginners. I feel like this would be a great beginner-friendly build. It'd be absolutely useless in the grand scheme of things, but I know for a fact there'd be tons of beginners who would just run this just to help them not die to bombs. And maybe I would run this because I love bombs. I love bombs blowing me up constantly, all the time. So, I would love to run Bomb Sniffer, so that way I have an indication of when I'm about to get wrecked by the bomb, because I'm sure as hell know that I'm still gonna die to a bomb whether I Bomb Sniffer on or not. But besides that, I think Bomb Sniffer definitely would be good for, newer players, or players, who, need it, who want to crutch on it a little bit for a while to, kind of get in the habit of, like, looking for bombs, and trying to, like, pay attention to it. But also it'd be good to not run it so you're more focused on paying attention. But I think it'd be good for, beginners to kind of, like, have that little extra helping hand for the most part. Next, we have this broken abomination of an ability, Recon, which allows you to see the opposing team on the map while standing on your spawn point. So basically you die, you come back, and you just get to coordinate with your whole team like, hey guys, they're all here, go mess them up. Yeah, this ability does not need to come back whatsoever. This is absolutely broken. Some people may disagree, however, because of the current landscape and how rapidly the entire, community has improved at the game, something as, that little bit of information of being like, hey, this is where these people are at, goes such a long way these days. It goes so far, especially, people who think they can get away with a shark after killing you, and it's just like, hey team, they're over here, and they just instant, like, kill that person. So yeah, this little information bit that this could give is just way too strong. This ability does not need to come back. There was also a couple other little abilities as well. Bomb range, which ended up just being moved over to sub power up to increase bomb throwing distance. Defense and damage up, which, good thing those aren't in the game anymore because affecting time to kill with abilities is kind of awful. MPU, oh, we all remember MPU from S2. Oh man, those were the days. Oh, such a good time. We all miss MPU, don't we? That got completely removed from the game. And special duration up, which is special power up now for certain specials, increased attack and duration, along with, I think it increases crab duration as well. So it increases some of those. So we had all these, little abilities here and there that did different things that are either merged into other abilities or they just were outright removed. Now, the reason I want more abilities is because I would like more build diversity. I think build crafting is one of the most fun things any game could have ever. I play lots of Warframe these days, and Warframe has a vast mod system where you can build craft however you want. I do not want a vast ability system, however, but I would like a little bit more abilities or have the abilities reworked in this game to, have a really custom tailored build. You can already do that in this game, of course. You can pick whatever you want. If you want to move really fast, here's lots of swim speed. Obviously, things have diminishing returns in this game if you stack them a bunch, but you can have stuff like that. But like that feels just very simplistic and not very fun. It's just kind of like, oh well, here's a lot of swim speed, ha ha ha. And also the fact that QR is kind of meh in this game compared to previous games like S2, where you basically have to run like a pure and then some in order to get value out of QR. And also, why do you need to run QR when we have cooler in the game these days as well? So some abilities just either lack potency, or some abilities can just be also just kind of mid, where we have respawn Punisher, but it's like Haunt's right there. You got Haunt right there, and it's a lot better, especially for weapons like Slayers and stuff like that. So I'll see people who are like, I run respawn Punisher on Gals. Like, why? Haunt's right there. Don't run respawn Punisher, you weirdo. I have already made a whole video talking about Respawn Punisher, though. You can go check that out, where I talked about different reworks to Respawn Punisher. But also, just in general, a lot of these abilities just kind of like, they feel simplistic in ways, and they don't really add a lot of goofiness or wackiness to the game. I'm not saying the game needs something super crazy for ability-wise, but it'd be nice if we had more unique abilities that we could use in the game that could, diversify builds, and also some quality of life changes to our current abilities in Splatoon 4 that would, really have an impact on the gameplay and not feel like I have to dump a bunch of these subs and mains onto my build for them to have use. Now, currently, one of the abilities that I was thinking of is we currently have Opening Gambit in the game, which is a snowball ability, and we don't really, that's the only snowball ability we have. So Opening Gambit, you start off the game with some nice buffs, and the more kills you get, the longer it stays up. However, if you start losing the game, it just goes to the wayside. It sucks. It's garbage. If you run Opening Gambit and then the enemy team just raffle stomps you the whole time, your Opening Gambit's gone and you're basically down in an entire ability for the rest of the game, and that's kind of a waste. However, we could have another snowball ability that we could use. Say we have an ability that, every time you get a kill, you maybe get 3 to 5 seconds of special charge and movement speed of sorts. Something like that. Just kind of like, a little buff in some other areas. Maybe not a lot. You get like an extra like 5 to 10 points in movement speed and special charge up, or maybe like Ink Saber Main or Ink Recovery or something like that after you get a kill. And it can stack, and every time you get a kill, it just adds time. So let's say you got 3 seconds, you get a kill, so you got 3, then you get another kill, 6, 12. It just keeps stacking the more kills you get, and you just keep the timer rolling. I think an ability like that would be very fun and be very rewarding to players who are actually good at the game, because sometimes when you're playing the game, you're like, wow man, I'm just murdering them all, this is great, and then you still lose the game, and it's like, man, I wish I had something to compensate for me getting all these kills. Like, I think I was like playing the other day and I got like 8 kills in a row, so something like that would be nice to have an ability to compensate for that. Another type of abilities that I think would be fantastic to have in the game would be weapon-specific abilities, where if you're using, let's say Umbrella, and you put on this, Umbrella main ability, let it be on shirt, shoes, helmet, whatever, it allows, maybe tent shield to regenerate faster, or maybe your tent shield to push forward more. I think this would be, something, similar to like an MPU of sorts, but, in a more healthier way. Not like, oh yeah, you give it to certain weapons and their damage just goes through the roof. Oh, now bamboo can one shot. No, no, no. No, we don't do that. No, there's ways to reel that in, and I think that would be a nice way to just reel it in, just weapon specific abilities for certain things, or like maybe just like something in general, like, oh, if you're just running, a shooter, you get increased, ink recovery or whatever, increased swim speed, something basic like that, that gives people a reason to slap that on for their main weapon. They don't really necessarily have to use something like that if they don't want to, but also it wouldn't hurt to have it on. And I think that's something, maybe they could invest in, is just weapon specific main abilities. Another ability that they could add on to, which I think would be great for a more coordinated comps setting, is when you are dealing with the objective, you have, maybe some increased movement speed or some, increase, like, ink recovery or something like that. So, like, let's say you're picking up the Rainmaker. If you have this ability on, you can move faster, swim faster with the Rainmaker. Because currently, right now, people, you'll just make like a build specifically for that. Like, oh, like I got the swim speed and run speed, I'm picking up a Rainmaker. And like that's cool, but like we can expand it beyond the Rainmaker. It can be like, oh, if you're in clams, you get like a slightly, faster movement speed when you're dealing with the clam, because when you have a power clam, people can see you. Like everyone can see you. So having like a little bit of extra movement speed would be pretty cool. So you like have that, slight, even playing field, and you can just move around and deal with a clam. Or if you're on tower, you have, maybe increased run speed so you can dance around the tower a lot easier, something like that. And for zones, if you own the zone and you're standing in it, increased ink recovery, something like that. Just game mode abilities would be pretty cool, because that would force people to switch up their builds between game modes as well. It might be an artificial swap for the build, of course, but like I said, make these builds so like it's an option to run them, but also, not necessary that you have to run them. Those are just some of my ideas for different abilities that would be great in this game, and going over, some other abilities that, we've had in the past. But I think a lot of abilities, some of them could be reworked. We could have, ability doubler change to maybe ability tripler, or, that would be a little bit broken, but something like that. Or, Tenacity definitely needs a rework. Respawn Punisher could be changed up a little bit as well to give it some more added diversity. So some abilities just need to be reworked, but others I definitely think we could use a little bit more abilities to add some more build variety per se. So that'd be pretty nice to see in S4. Let me know what abilities you guys would like to see, or what kind of effects you like to see in the games. I will see you in the next video. Take care. Peace. Bye.